Hello, and so good evening, good Abend, ẹ káalẹ́, ẹ káàárọ̀, ẹ kú gbogbo ẹ̀ níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà. It's another Friday the 21st of is it July? Yeah, July 2023. Nice date. Tomorrow 22nd, I'm looking forward to a big wedding engagement. One of my friend's daughter getting married. I was there last month for the traditional wedding. The husband is white. And in the process, I don't know what happened. I must have enjoyed myself. I lost count, and then what happened is, I think a week after, I got a ticket from uh, London Transport, asking me to pay either 270 as if I keep it longer, or pay £90 on that day. So it cost me £90. And of course, I got more blame from my nephew, son, who is with me. Say, is it that enjoyment so good that you forgot to pay your congestion charges? And this is where I'm going to start the show tonight. Partly rule of law, regulations, bylaws, and so on and so forth. We're going to have a lot to discuss tonight. And with me in the studio is very popular. You must have seen many times. He's here again, and it's taking, even though we are together, but it's taking me so long to have him to sit in front of the camera to be my guest. And I've always wanted to have him, because I have no doubt in my mind that he is a man of so many things. He has an idea of so many things, and you're going to find out tonight, because himself and I, we're going to. It's not going to be a duel. It's not going to be engagement in misunderstanding, in argue. No, 99% of what we'll be talking about is going to be a form of explanation, education, introduction to what you and I might probably take for granted and say, well, what does that mean? Maybe I heard somebody who was saying something is happening, and he will break it down. So before I continue, let me get him to introduce himself tonight to you again, for those who have seen him before. Mr. I call him Mr. Oseni, even though his father is my late father is my senior brother. Mr. Oseni, good evening to you, and how are you tonight?
I'm good. Good evening, sir. Good evening, viewers, wherever you are listening from. And good to be here.
The volume is, I'm not too sure what I said, but do you have another of your device signed on? You might need to switch it off and keep only one.
Okay. Good.
So we can hear you clearly.
How about now?
Oh, it's still echo. You still need to switch one off, because it looks like two of them.
I've done that now.
Do you only have one now?
Yeah, I'll switch off the other device. How about now?
You only have one?
Yes. The audio is good now.
It's still echoing. I don't know.
Okay,
There's something.
There's
something. Yeah. You just need to switch one on and switch one off. The echo is coming from your end.
Is it any better now?
Not really. I'm still it's still echoing somehow.
Is that?
But just make sure definitely you switch off the old and then use the. Uh,
Okay. Do you mind if I sign in again? Is the
yeah, okay, do
question?
that. Okay, you can do that. No
Uh,
problem. It's part of the show. Don't worry yourself.
uh,
Yeah, sign off and sign in again. Thank you. While I'm waiting for my guest, Mr. Shegun Daniel Oseni is going to come back on again. And experience is best teacher. A couple of times when I was doing this show, I it was like how to deal or struggle with uh, echo, and in most cases coming from my guest. And I did not know at first that my guest maybe probably must have switched on two devices. So now I got hold of that. I've learned from that. So if I have a guest and I'm hearing echo from my side here, from the my studio room, whatever. So I always say switch your one of your devices off, and then you will have a volume-free uh, conversation. And I'm waiting for him to switch on again. Hopefully that will make tonight's show very nice. I must also say nobody's under pressure. It's like I have only sent out a lastminute.com invite, but it's not do or die. This show can be picked up on YouTube and also on Facebook as time goes on. So really and honestly, it's not a problem at all. If you are on another program or you're doing something somewhere and you think, okay, let me come back to this show, you can always come back. No problem at all. Yeah, I'm still waiting for my guest, Mr. Shegun Daniel Oseni. Um, please, I'm still waiting, and when he comes in, we are going to continue the discussion tonight. I want to please ask for a favor, and the favor is if you can help me share this show, like it, love it, send, I don't know what the sticker, I don't know what, but just like, love, subscribe, and click the notification button. So when there's even if it's an emergency or anything, so you'll be asked to join, you'll be notified, and that'll be nice. So again, I'm still waiting for Mr. Daniel. Yes, I think Mr. Daniel is back again. We're live already. Let me welcome back Mr. Daniel. Uh, Mr. Daniel, you're welcome back.
thank you.
Very good. Well, it's get better. Again, you only have one of your phones switched off, and you're only
Okay.
using, yeah. And okay, I want you to introduce yourself again.
Yeah, my name is Sheldon Daniel Oseni. I'm a strategic planner and an economic. I have expertise in law, social sciences, as well as political analysis.
Well, I know we may not have enough time to allow you to list all other area of your expertise, and I'm very proud to showcase you for that. I do that to everybody I know. Once I know that people know their onions, they can give correct, accurate information or education to people. Because I discovered that most of our people back home, even here and abroad, most of them do not understand what it takes as to be a participant in in the area of playing the role of an electorate. They don't understand it, and that is not being. I'm being modest. I'm not being rude to anybody, because take for example of somebody called me and said, "Oh, Otuba, there's something happening in Asu Rock. Maybe there something is going to happen to the president." Take it from there. What does that mean? What does that say to you? If anybody call you and say, "Are they somebody something is happening to the president?" What? How will you react? What will you say to that person?
Well, I would rather say the person is an alarmist. I might need to contact few people back in Nigeria, possibly those who are connected to the Astro media, and verify that claim. If at all there is anything untoward happening in Nigeria. Um, it's sometimes common to find people these days, even those who declared, I would rather use that word, who declare themselves to be knowledgeable or educated. Sometimes they found wanting in the dissemination of information. So I take most things with a pinch of salt, only when it's verified and established.
Thank you. I must say I'm still not very comfortable with the volume of your.
Uh,
Is this something not right?
is it better now? Maybe I was not talking louder enough.
Okay, maybe a little bit better. If we can
Is it
keep that,
better now?
it's better. Yeah, if we can keep it
Okay,
up.
yeah. Then I would rather raise my voice a
Yes,
bit.
please. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Again, like I said, this is a moment for me, a well relaxed moment. I want to get more from you to my viewers, my listeners, and so on and so forth. Again, please help share this show if you have been notified. Yeah. If not, it's a show you can always watch in another 1 month, 2 months, 3 months time, in a year. It doesn't matter. But this, I can tell you, is going to be a classic night, a classic moment with somebody I believe has more to share with me and to be passed on to many other of our viewers. Shagun, uh, as we speak, there's this ongoing tribunal relating to uh, the president election. You and I know that there are three levels for the governorship. You know, the third leg is the supreme, whereas in that case of president is only two levels: this appeal and then supreme court. What eh, to be very careful. We don't want to go into the nitty gritty of the judgment or proposed or I mean, expected judgment and so on. But what can we say just generally about where we are today?
Well, fortunately, the election was held uh, in Nigeria sometime in February and another for the governorship in March, early this year, which had ushered in a new administration headed by Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the president, and other governors have been sworn into. The election, yes, it is within the right of every candidate of any other party that feel like it to approach the court to seek redress if they feel that there have been infraction or the election was not conducted properly or for any other reason that is within the ambit of the law that is captured by the electoral law as well as an electoral law as amended 2022 and uh, and the the ground, which is the Constitution has provided for the conduct of the election. It is within those ambit that every individual contestant in the election have the opportunity to join whatever will have come up and they saw has played a role in making them lose the election. So I think everyone, the nerves have calmed now, and they've taken that step to approach the tribunal and make their petition. Though there was very much misinformation uh, about the whole process. And during the process itself, I found a whole lot of people who claim to be uh, uh, learned, wanting in some of the discussions they engaged regarding the procedures for the tribunal. But the matter is before the court now. It will be prejudice for me to make any comment regarding the outcome of it. Um, uh, Currently, what we can do is pertaining to that of the presidency. This is the first court of uh, jurisdiction, which is the appeal court. Once they give their judgment, both sides have the opportunity to appeal. It could go either way, or it could go in what in sport we could say a draw, in which case if the court ordered a rerun, that means there was no declaration of anybody having won the election, and that means the incumbent will remain there and to appeal. Yes, if it goes to the appeal and said, I don't want a rerun, I still maintain that I win. So that will go to appeal to the Supreme Court. Yeah, they will have to adjudicate on it. So we will leave that open as well. That's if the matter needs to go further. And even if it goes against if it's in favor of the incumbent, the petitioner still have the opportunity to appeal too and say, well, I'm not satisfied with the decision of the first court of first instance, and then go further to appeal to the Supreme Court for it to be reviewed. So that too, we have to keep our fingers crossed. That's the decision for any of the parties to make, and for us to keep our fingers crossed to wait for the decision, the pronouncement from the Supreme Court if it ever gets there. So I think if we all understood it, there would not be any reason for fixing the policy. It is this the absence of that understanding or the deliberate attempt by few or many to kind of play fast and fury about the whole procedure or to misinform the generality of the people about the procedure that is eating up the polity. And I will give another instance that was a bit funny to me. A well-respected, learned lawyer. He practiced here in UK as well as both, and well-known is a son in Nigeria, going by the name of Bakuba. Shortly after the election and the other party that lost indicated that they want to approach the court. He made a suggestion, a very good one. But I feel the suggestion came with some sinister. Why I say so is that it should be understood fundamentally, and that's the the premise of this. That those who goes to a football match knew the rule. The same way is in the context of election. Unless they want to say they were blindfolded into it or railroaded into it. Either Labour Party, APM, PDP, APC, and all the other parties. They were well aware of the provisions of the Constitution regarding the conduct of the election. They are well aware of the provisions of the electoral law regarding the conduct of the election. post-election activity, they were well aware of all the steps, the procedures, the laws and the rules governing how to approach the tribunal, and what they can place before the petition tribunal, the time limit for it to adjudicate, and all that. So they can't feign that this is new to me. They start the game knowing well all those procedures. I'm shocked that somebody is saying, no, we should fast track it. We should do away with it within 30 days, within 2 weeks, within 3 weeks. Yeah. That is like changing the goalpost in the middle of the game. If that request is to be about the next election, that we will make preparation, that we have noticed this lacuna, we have noticed this inconvenience that is, this law has created. We will work to tinker with the law to improve on it so that it can accommodate, you can campaign for that, so that that could be accommodated by tinkering with the law. You approach the legislative house, submit your motion, canvass for it, so that those necessary changes, amendments will be made in the law that will accommodate that. You don't say that should be implemented when aforementioned, you knew the rule that said the game that you are playing on is this. It allows the court to have 180 days to adjudicate on this matter. If you are dissatisfied, you have another 14 days to put in your appeal and wait for another 60 days for it to be heard and be concluded with. You know all that. You cannot suddenly say in the heat of the moment, oh, let this be done before somebody who won against me is sworn in, and you are canvassing all manners of sentiments. Oh, for legitimacy. Oh, for it to be accepted. For it to be generally accepted. For it to be for it. It's a ruse. And that's why I said I believe there was a scheme behind it. And that is not the position of the law.
Comprehensive. And again, like I said, I noticed from my interaction with the public, and when I say publics, those are the people that know me, that I know them, that we talk time to time about politics, over and above politics, matters arising about Nigeria, governance, and so on. Again, like I'm going to mismatch my question to you because I know it's they're going to be well dealt with. Issue of development, issue of how do we get to where we are. We are still struggling after the independence, and in along the line, it has now been shown that some member of the family, take a good example of the, the, the Igbo people, the Yoruba, Ijo, and many other people have started talking of they're just not happy. Why did it take us 60 years on to get to find out that, oh, we are no more happy? What do you think is responsible for that? Because as far as I'm concerned, it's not too late. Where I mean, I can imagine that each of these groups are tagged along, they've worked together, but it seems like all the efforts made is just not paying off. So some of these groups are now saying enough is enough. What's your take on that?
Well, I think we are bequeathed with a legacy. If we recall, Nigeria became a colony of the British Empire into protectorate, was amalgamated, later became an independent nation. But a particular style of rule was very preponderant. It is called indirect rule. That was the method the British used in administering their colonies, the state that they occupied in Africa. And what indirect rule simply means is divide and rule. Divide and rule. You need to create, find the ember of the differences of the people, and then all of them that feel separated who identify their differences will have their loyalty to you because you do not share of those differences. And that was bequeathed to us even after the independence. That we now play politics of divide and rule. You only get political gain when you divide the people. When you secure the political power, you preach to unite them. That's the best way to secure political power. When you're making your campaign, if you do enough demographic search, if you know that you're a Christian and the preponderance of Christians in where you are campaigning to secure power, either as senator, house of rep, or governor, or what have you, is they are Christian. You go there to talk about religious matters that the Christians find interesting, that you're going to protect their interests far above that of the Muslims and all that. You are very much aware that there are Muslims in your constituency, but you rarely get them. You say most to those you think will give you favor in electoral victory. But once you secure that, then you say, I'm the father of all. You all come. I do not throw anybody apart. So that has been our talking trick. You get it. When somebody wants to run for this, they will be matchmaking. It has to be Yoruba, a Muslim, or Yoruba, a Christian. How does it appeal to the North Muslim? How does it appeal to the Northeast Christian? How does it appeal to the Southeast Christian? Do you get it? You are putting mixed bag so that you are looking for those appeal. Yet you are the one that is going to come and say, I'm detribalized. I'm detoxed from religious bias. But the truth is, that is the weapon, the tool that you use in currying favor and currying political power. So it's a deception. The public, unfortunately, usually fall flat for it. So I think that will go on for some time because it has become a mastery in Nigerian body politics. So, well, as it were, the followers are no different from the leaders because it is out of this pool of followers that the leaders are trumped up. So whatever we see our leaders doing now is partly because it emanates from the pool of the followers. So like that's why I said, for now, I simply believe that it will go on for some time. Okay. And I want to quickly chip in another thing, which comes to my mind just, I think, earlier today, that in this same idea of divide and rule of the using issues like, religion, ethnic background, and all that, you get it. I had someone maybe 2 days ago on TV saying, somebody from the Southeast was talking about, I think maybe it was somebody in Ohani's Indigo's group, was talking about the Southeast who really appreciate or will be claiming for additional state creation. In that, not just the creation, he actually emphasized that state creation means more wealth or more resources will be devoted to that part of the nation, that region of the nation. I mean, if they have currently 5 states and it's turned into 7 or it's turned into 10, that means more subvention to more of the state bloc that will be going to that part of mine. What later came to my mind is, if more money is put in southwest of Nigeria, does it mean that that money is meant only for Igbo man? Is it to the exclusive use of an Igbo man, or is for the use of Nigeria? Because if roads are tarred, if there are hospitals in Southeast, if I'm a Nigerian and have liberty to travel to any part of the country, to live, to stay, to work, or to do anything, even for leisure, I will have the opportunity of using those facilities. It's not restricted, so there shouldn't be. I don't know why we have to think that building the Southeast or building the North is exclusively for the Fulani or for the Igbo man. As if a Yoruba man who goes there will not enjoy that road, will not enjoy the hotel that is built, will not enjoy the medical facilities that is built there. The moment we begin to believe that whether roads are constructed in Lagos, in Aba, in Nabia, in Funtua, in Kaura Namoda, in Yobe, anywhere, that is all for us. The better we begin to understand that we have a nation to protect, we have a nation to call our home, we have a home that is ours. But if we're saying we are going to corner some resources there, as if those resources are meant for people of that ethnic group, ethnic kit and kin, then I think something fundamental is wrong with the way we're thinking. Yeah. So I want to preach that if creating more states is for development or it makes more available the resources, whereas the truth is we all know that these resources is very meager. It's not readily available. So there will have to be some argument around there whether it is justified or it is feasible to create such state when you can't fund it. So I don't know. Like I said, but if we can wrap our head around it, that the Yoruba man should not stand and say, no, you should not put money in the Southeast. Because he knows that Southeast is part of Nigeria. And if he has any business to do in Southeast, whatever development that is made in Southeast, you have access and fair use of those facilities. So the same will happen to an Hausa man. He will not have to cross with the Ibibio man and say, nothing should be done in the Hefik land. You get it? Because at one point, if he needs to do your business or if he needs to socialize or even have a courtship relationship of someone from that kind of, from that part of the country, he will enjoy whatever that has been established there. So the development can be evenly distributed. Well, I don't know whether evenly, but I mean, to some extent, it can be encouraged to be distributed. We all believe that we have an opportunity to have fair use of it.
Thank you very much. Again, I want to appeal again that please, uh, if you join this show either through YouTube or direct, help share it to your friends and family. Let them come and sit down and listen to this breaking news show. And also, if you, before the end of the show, if you have any question, you can ask directly. You can ask my guest. The telephone number, I'll put it in a minute. I'll put it on the screen. But I can also call it to you. Is a 07368 or +44 7368 465 054. But I'm going to get the message scrolling on the screen now. Mr. Oseni.
One moment, let me quickly add something.
Okay.
Now, I think mutual suspicion also have played a role in this ethnic suspicion that have made a great deficit in trust among the major ethnic groups, either by practice, deliberate practice in governance, or sheer misfortune. And that has led to it's not recent, it's been on for some time, the agitation to balkanize Nigeria. Yeah. The East, for some time, I've had some voices there clamoring for the secession of the Biafran state. And recently, too, the Yoruba nation have been loud and clear. And so far, the only region that seems not so agitated is the northern, maybe because of the problem of banditry and terrorism and all that. So the Arewa or the northern part of the country had not been in the forefront of struggle to balkanize Nigeria. However, um, even if it is desirable for these other two regions to aspire, campaign to have nationhood, I I have closely observed the method that have been deployed or have been deployed or have been contemplated in achieving that result. And I can tell 100% it's all gotten wrong. 100% in all ramification of it, in all sphere that they've attempted, particularly those who want to take to violence. Some feel the violence, they will cite so many examples, struggles, 30-year struggle, 80-year struggle by Sudan, this struggle by Eritrea that they took to arms and all that. I'm not a campaigner for violence. I don't believe in violence. I don't preach violence. I believe that all matters can be resolved amicably, responsibly, and sensibly. And that can be achieved, even if you are shouting on top of your voice. And even if you are speaking very lowly, people will have their ears to you. Sometimes you even achieve a whole lot by keeping silent because you make others to quiver, they worry that aren't you going to contribute something? What is on your mind? You're just curious to know. So there is strength, there is power in silence as well. So, like I said, and I stand to be corrected, I do not see any template that will work that to any of the groups so far from the Biafra as well as the, the Yoruba nationhood campaign and all that. They have not. Why I said this is birth to a new nation is a political matter. It is simply a political matter. It can only be achieved on political ground, political discussion. Power itself, as it were today, by premise that Nigeria wants to have adopted democracy, means you need to seize power by getting involved in the body politic. But where it rested most, the power to have such things done, actually, that's the birth of any new nation outside of the body politic called Nigeria, is in the National Assembly. Those who are desirable of having it, to start thinking of playing the politics of the National Assembly. We need to have people who share that vision, who share that ideal, who are ready to campaign for it, who are ready to move for it, who are genuinely committed for it. And they should not just fanciful commitment, who can marshal out any good reason why so. Because they must understand this. As plausible as it might sound, if the electorate do not buy into it, and that is a very big one. If a plebiscite is thrown up in eastern Nigeria today, you might be surprised that overwhelmingly the Indigo might vote to remain within Nigeria. Don't be surprised that the same people who are campaigning that they want to lead, they want a Biafran nation, will be the one to intimidate the people not to go for that plebiscite, not to go for the referendum. They might started gunmen and say that day they do not want them to vote for the referendum because they know they're going to lose. You get so it might be very, very surprising. I live in UK. We all saw what happened in Scotland. The campaign was very right. What is it called? The pundit, the polls shown that Scotland will be independent. But alas, it turned out differently. So that cannot be wished away. People might come to their senses and said, well, what am I going to do with a country that is landlocked? Eastern Nigeria, Biafra is landlocked, have no access to any international water. Yes. How are they going to do their business? How are they going to conduct their business? Are they going to be paying half of whatever taxes they're collecting in accessing water, the international water in rivers or in Calabar or in Lagos? Yes. It's going to be a landlocked nation. And in that territory, their airspace will still be within the control of Nigerian airspace. So what exactly? They need to iron it out. Somebody is going to start thinking. You get it? That what is it the euphoria of we have a birth of a nation? And then the following day when we come out of our stupor, we realize that, you know what, we still need to eat food. And here is Biafra, well, we can't import anything. We are still in the debacle of some regulations from Nigeria. And then the truth down on them. But before some even put their hands in that ballot, they will have thought about it. And then said, no, this is not going to happen in our lifetime. You get it? But I'm saying that even if they want that, it's not about taking arms. It's not about being violent. It's about having somebody. It is your people. It is, if you are campaigning for them, go to them and say, vote me into the Senate. This is what I want to go and think out. This is what I want to go and discuss there. Vote me to the House of Rep. This is what I'm telling you, and I believe you agreed with me. Let me go there. I can tell you, if from the eastern Nigeria, Biafra, they have only just three senators who will go to Abuja out of 100 and how many of them? 109. Just three. And they stood up. Even one of them just stood up and said, I'm here today. I want to move a motion for the creation of the nation of Biafra. That is the matter I'm tabling, that Biafra wants to secede out of Nigeria. We need to establish a committee to iron out the modalities for doing so. We are requesting. Yeah, I'm telling you, it goes far and wide than any hand wrestle. Yes, it goes far and wide. Yes. So if the likes of their leaders in Kano, Etkwa, or whatever they call, are not doing that, then they don't enjoy the support of the people. They don't. If they do, they should go to their people and say, send me to where this matter can be discussed. That's where I need to table it before them. I give people an instance of Niger Farage, when Britain was still in the EU. There is a man who said, no, I want my nation out of this club, European, out of this club called European Union. Yeah, and he started his campaign, but he knew where the locus is, where that matter will be discussed, where it matters to be discussed. He doesn't choose to stay, I'm going to campaign it in my local council, or I will campaign it in the Westminster. No, this matter pertains to European Union in Brussels. And so he stand candidate with few of his other colleagues. He formed a party. He stood candidate for an election to be elected into European Parliament. He secured a seat. He got there and started his campaign. That is where the matter can be tabled. That is where the matter can be heard. Without one gunshot, UK was out of European Union. That was Brexit. Yes.
So the rest is history. So are you
Yes.
saying, because I want you to re-emphasize, are you saying the only way to get Yoruba nation out of a current Nigeria uh, contraption, people call it different names, 419, 420, whatever it is, are
Mhm.
you saying the only legit, not only legitimate, the only way to get without dropping any drop of blood or anything, bloodshed, anything, is to do a kind of a political approach, something similar to what Niger Farage did, and it got a powerful nation like UK out of other 29 countries. Is that what
The-
you're saying?
the- exactly so. Absolutely. And the examples abound, not just only in the case of Brexit, but more importantly, that is the only way, the only legal, legitimate, acceptable way. Czechoslovakia, even other Yugoslavia that got broken down, there's still tension there because it was broken down out of use of force, violence. The Serbs and the Croats, as well as the Herzegovina, what's it there? Which other one is
Bosnia,
there now?
Bosnia,
Bosnia. Yes, there's still
Kosovo,
restiveness. Yes, whereas in Czechs and Slovakia, it was an handshake. It was an agreed. We sit down, we judge, we talk about it. We look at the regulations, the laws that put us together. We dissociate it. Now there is no bickering, nothing. You get it? That is the mutual consent. Yeah, the same, and that is the way we can. I sometimes don't fancy how some people will sit in the comfort of their home or in some comfortable, secured place and expect other people to go and shed and die for their cause. And said, no, we will put them out to go and protest, to go and throw bombs, to go and throw, just for the sake of railroading you to power. That to me is inept. Yeah, I can't subscribe to that. It doesn't make sense to me. When there is a fair, free, easy, legitimate, unless you want to say that you are timid, you are half human, that you cannot contest cerebrally with another person of your stature. You're saying there's somebody who comes here who is going to say no. There's an answer called no in life. You sit down and discuss the matter with the person. Let them say no. You have the right of response. Do you get it? You keep highlighting the need, the necessary need, the good things that is involved in it. You get it? That's it. I've said to people that, particularly because I'm of Yoruba extraction, some people will say, oh, all of the money is taken to the north, to the northern part of. I have stayed in the north. I have seen the north. It's more impoverished than any part of Nigeria. I have not seen what the so-called leaders from the north have done with the resources they cornered there to the people. They might have done something for themselves in their flashy lifestyle. But to the people, to the generality of the people, it has not done anything. It has not. It has not made their life anything better, anything more meaningful. And that to me would mean if you have those who are educated, those who are learned, those who are enlightened, even among the northerners, they too could aspire to say, you know what, it could even be a blessing for us to get out of entrapment called Nigeria, and we can manage our own resources rather than these stupid leaders who have managed us and impoverished us. We want a state of Arewatu. Yes. And then it is going to be a mutual breakup that every region have understood the reason, the need for them to separate. You get it? Let them begin to see that our problem is not because those in the south are not giving us enough. They are giving us more than enough, but certain numbers amongst us who are northerners are the one that is cornering it. They have more states. That means more resources is put there. And yet they are behind. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm.
It's knowledge turned upside down. Somebody is bound to begin to ask that if you are taking so much, how come we are lagging so behind? And then the agitation could come from there too. And so when there's that mutual agitation from, you can all reach consensus. It's not going to be a violent thing, because the one that you consider as your enemy have realized that, you know what, I want to toe the line that you two want to toe. I want an independent Arewa nation too. You want an independent Oduduwa nation. You want an independent Biafra nation. You get it? It's all about cerebral discussion. You put your thinking cap on, you be mentally vibrant. And this matter could be trashed out. But some people, I even hear those who are preaching the violence. This is going to take us, if it takes us 20 years. Why do you want to preach for people to carry arms, and how many will die in 20 years of struggle?
Well,
Generation.
Mr. Oseni, I promise our viewers, listeners all over the world, that tonight is going to be a night of where we're going to on envelope matters arising, issues that are very, very compelling, that the followers of the believers, the campaigners of this and that needs to listen. So are you saying again that this IPOP financing anti-aircraft, anti-this, anti-that, General Innocent coming out, Mr. IPOP merchandise, all that kind of thing, wanting to get Kanu out and all that kind of thing. Don't you think when they come out, they can achieve what something different from what you are saying?
Well, let me tell you why we're giving them attention. There is a collapse of orderliness in the structure of the Nigerian state in terms of security. If Nigerian state, the only body that have monopoly of violence is the state. Anywhere under the sun, a sovereign state is the only one that have monopoly of violence, because statutorily they could have police, they can have military, information of Air Force, Marine, Army, Navy, name it, whatever, whether even galactical force or whatever. Yeah, there's only the sovereign state that have monopoly of violence. And they have another thing to their side, law and order. Yes, under that claim of law and order, they can use maximum force to restore law and order. Now, if there is a systemic failure in that structure, then there will be compromise. That is what is emanating and is displaying in Nigeria, because it's either the customs, the police, the military have allowed the seepage of arms either into the hands of this disgruntled element. You get it? There have been that compromise, and they're not standing up to stem it. We are struggling, trying to say that we should bring them back to their professionalism so that they can combat it. If a state is willing and alive to its responsibility, it won't get to that extent. It's only the state that have the monopoly of violence. If the military goes against these people and they were crushed, there is no matter to adjudicate on it. but it is the state that could declare any other person that is carrying weaponry and say they are rebels, they are this, they are that, they are criminals. None of them can say police is a criminal. None of them can say army is a criminal. All those that are carrying weaponry in the heat, they cannot label Nigerian army as criminal. Do you get? But Nigerian army can say those there are criminals, so I'm going after criminals and kill them. That shows that the violence, the use of violence, the use of force reside with the Nigerian state legitimately. Do you get it?
Mm.
So that's just about when there is a systemic crisis within that organic structure, it allows for the seepage of these errant people to pervade some area of the committee. So that's what we've been witnessing so far. Unless the state comes to its level and be bolstered and said, yes, we need to do what we need to do. You get it? They could be cleared out. Absolutely. It only takes commitment and being professional.
Thank you. I need to go back to Nigeria again. Happy we'll be talking about the uh, the arrangements, the the plan, the plan, the wish, the uh, aspiration of the Yoruba people. Because I mean, you have not said anything against the aspiration of the Yoruba people to wanting to one day or so want to disappear from the map of Nigeria. We have a compelling reasons. I have no doubt in my mind that you also agree to that. Just what you have been saying is the method that the modality, the
Uh, I
paran.
want to, pardon me for cutting it, I want to disagree a bit. As much as I, do as much as I found it, I found it worthy that such cause can be pursued. I still have a reservation. My reservation is one, status quo. I'm a Nigerian. As of today, I'm a Nigerian. I do not see myself as a Yoruba citizen. You get it? So that remains very clear to me. Nobody should say because you are agitating for something, you have suddenly put on the toga, you start calling yourself an Yoruba. No, no. That's living dreamy world. That's one. Two, I queried what led to that agitation. I think, like I said, the agitation to me has been very recent. And if looked properly, is linked to economic woes. It's because people no longer found meaning for their life in the body politic called Nigeria. And so they are clamoring for something to give them support. But what they fail to realize is it is not the Fulani man that is making life unbearable for them. The Fulani man is going through extreme poverty and extreme tough living condition as well. So there is a common denominator to all of them, that it is Nigerian economy that is not performing. It is not an Igbo man that is your problem. It is not an Hausa or Fulani man or a Bibio man that is your problem. It is the economy, the way the economy is structured, and the leakages that have been perpetrated by those who are managing it that is causing untold problems for the majority of the people. So rather than seeing their problem together, they are trying to point accusing. It's like diversionary, accusing finger to somebody that this one is the one responsible for my problem. So to that extent, I want to say that um, I I I appreciate the agitation for the nationhood, but I don't think the time is right. You get it? There is a strength in our diversity. Nigeria has a beautiful, colorful amalgamation. We only fail to see the strength in that diversity. We see the problem that is associated with the diversity because we ember on it so much. You get it? That it had become an headache for us. And that's why we're not seeing the opportunities in it. So I don't see what homogeneity will give us. If you are in a nation where you are all Igbo, you think that is the only thing that is. There are countries that is doing they are doing very, very well, and they are not homogeneous. United Kingdom is not homogeneous. Yes, and it's one of the shining nations of the world. So the idea that it's only got to be you Yoruba people, we will understand ourselves, we will manage ourselves, it's a rule. You get it? We need to understand that once we tap into these other opportunities, other ideas, other people's uh, uh, resources, other ways of thinking, other ways of doing things, it's going to enhance our overall development. But rather, we're seeing it as something we could throw away. It's something that is becoming a clog for us. Yeah? So that's why I said I will take it with a pinch of salt. I'd rather have a Nigeria that works for everybody. You get it? When it worked, nobody was, when Gowon said we have no problem with how to spend money, nobody was saying, how that money is my problem. Because everybody was having good time. Nobody saw that Igbo man was his problem. But because the way the economy had been run down, then people are looking for scapegoat. So the answer is not in the homogeneity. Granted, let's say we even want to go that direction. This is the second analysis. We wanted to go to have nationhood of our own. We could test drive it before we even land there. Let the state that form the whole southwest region, the whole, western region, let them aggregate again and started doing more developmental and economic activities together. Let's reform and get back the Odua investment. Let's reform and get back the cocoa thing. Let's reform and let the state perform and let the Yorubas know that in this state, this is an indication of what is to come. You get it? Yes, yeah. That will give us a test run of what we can get there. But when we are limping, we are mismanaging ourselves, and we are saying it's somebody else that is doing us. It's just the same way as some people will say it is the British that is still our problem, after they have gone more than 60 years ago.
Yeah, but there's this also, sorry to interject you there, Chairman. There's also this argument that some of the laws that was made to merge us together still can be undone.
I found that very laughable. I've read about that too. Somebody was talking about how to undo the 1914. Yeah, these people can be very professionals sometimes. They can be, I don't know, but sometimes maybe I ran out of adjective. Someone was postulating that in every 100 years, and it's fanciful sometimes where all this idea comes out of their bluntly, They said, every after 100 years, all treaty comes to nothing. That the amalgamation in 1914, by their own conjecture, suddenly just came to an end in 2014. You get it? Because they are the one that is prescribing now. Just every 100 years, the treaty just ends. It looks like a certificate of occupancy. Still for life. The leasehold. Suddenly 100 years. So Nigeria now revert back to Northern Protectorate, Southern Protectorate. But I don't see how anybody has affected that. Even when they are shutting it out of their gut, they are unable to effect it. I mean, I don't know what to call that. Whether it's just play psychophancy or play, I don't know. You get
Uh,
it. And some again said, um, because that law is a royal hack. I think that came up recently. That is the royal hack, and so can be challenged in the court and can be reversed. There is only an act of parliament by the British that cannot be challenged in the court, and so people should start planning and preparing to go to a British court to revert the 1914 amalgamation in 2023 or 2024 or 2020. I mean, what a phantom dream. You know, and they, they want to plunge a lot of resources in doing that. It's out of order. It's laughable that in this time and age, some people will be selling those kind of ideas for others. It is extreme. Nigeria, for goodness sake, is a sovereign state. Whatever happened in 1914 has been overtaken even by the event of independence. To come and tell another sovereign state to meddle in the affairs of Nigeria by their court, that UK government will now say, oh, we have now adjudicated on the amalgamation of 1914. We are no longer take cognizance of Nigeria as an independent sovereign state, which she achieved in 1960. But we are saying that that amalgamation now is now being reversed. And so the union is broken. I mean, how do you sell that? Is this Sunak that will tell us that, or the court in London? I don't know how that will be. Or you take that judgment and take it to United Nations and say, come and enforce it for us. So I thought that
I, I,
anyway.
let me get it. Shegun, are you saying that one upon a time the declaration has been done with the United Nations? We have gotten in touch with about 200 countries and so on and so forth. When are they likely come to pull out Yoruba out of Nigeria as we speak?
The rest of the world cannot pull out Yoruba out of Nigeria. It can be done. The rest of Europe,
It cannot be.
let me give you an instance. The rest of Europe, European Union, cannot pull out Barcelona out of Spain. That's how it is. As well organized as EU is, they cannot, by fiat, by their strength, by anything, just as Barcelona, Catalonia is campaigning for independence out of Spain. They cannot do that. That is a well-organized body, well-oiled. It cannot happen. Only Spain can judge with politicians in Catalonia that can bring that to happen. So this dream of we're going to United Nations, you call United States, you call this one, you call Britain, it's a funfair. Let the truth be told. It's a funfair. It can't happen. Czechoslovakia, not United Nations, nobody pull them apart. It can't happen. Even Soviet Union, when it broken down, it is not United Nations. It is the Baltic state, and they all said we're going. Yes. It can happen. I don't know where all this is coming from.
So the Brezhnev, what was it called? The idea of 23 countries came out of Soviet Union in the 90s. It was a kind of mutual negotiation, mutual understanding, and so on.
So Gorbachev started the Perestroika and what's this other? Yeah, there were two programs he was running, but he couldn't manage it properly. He gave rise to restiveness, and then they started the regions, the republics were all agitating, and then they had to talk about it and then disintegrate. It was within the Soviet Union, not United Nations, not EU. Then it was even EEC or EC then. Yes, not AU. They didn't bring their matter to ECOWAS. I don't know what, they didn't bring it to Imperial Court in England. Neither did they go to Canada or Scandinavia. I don't know why we always have this lucky thing for somebody must have to come and tell us how to conduct our affairs. And like I said, it is what it was bequeathed to us. There is a lucky thing that we feel that, you know what, in this forest of zoo, we are stupid enough, we need some masters to come and, yeah, even those of us who are legally trained, some still appeal to such things and said, we will go and tell the British Prime Minister, British Foreign Minister, we'll tell you United States. I mean, what nonsense.
There was also one time somebody said the thing have already been granted in the House of Lords. That that is one of the campaigners that come to mess it up. Now, I mean, a quick one. Why?
It's an irony.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, you have some followers who doesn't know their left from their right. Who once they hear some of these emotional talk, they just jump on the bandwagon. I declare I establish I'm a declarate about because all manners of nomenclature used for this something. You know, it's and so some people are just saying, I don't know. Well, another thing is I feel maybe there is a caricature about it. Some of those characters have reasons why they are on the media, they are on the on social media doing all these things. Some of them is just so the more noise they make, and some see it as social relaxation. Kíní tún ti sọ báyìí, o ti gbọ́ kankan kí àbí kí lorúkọ kan, tó máa ń ṣépè bú everybody back on back. It is a very loud-mouthed someone. And you talk out of ignorance, thinking he's talking sense, And you find people just amusing themselves listening to things like that. So it's not surprising anyway. Sometimes you need to laugh out the problem, But when you're laughing out the problem, you should know the details.
Part of human angle. Why are some of, even though you just said it now, but I just want to re-emphasize that some of our people, I'm one of the campaigners, they just take to their guns and want to create honesty, MET, honesty, this enchantment. They become very, very aggressive. Saying that because you are not saying what they want to hear. And
well,
what this is a little bit about woman angle. Why? What did they get for that?
I've said that earlier, that the different people in those platforms have different motives. You get it? Even if you look at the conduct of some of these activities, you find them going back and forth accusing each other, particularly when monies are involved. You get it? So the different people comes into it, sharing these ideas and all that for different motives. And so you can always expect that. And when it becomes an hilarious ballroom, so anything can go. You find people doing all manners of things. And those who want to state and be clear about this is the way to go, we need to have a plan. We need to have a strategy in achieving that plan. And those strategies has to be continuously appraised, evaluated, and be established and moderated. You get it? Because it's fluid, flexible, and very dynamic. You cannot be rigid. You have information that is flowing will be determining how you skewed your strategy. You get it? But your mission, your vision is not changing. Do you get what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
planning. Yes. But you should know the course that you want to take. The whole idea of even strategic planning and strategic execution is you have to have scenarios. You must be able, whatever you're deploying, you must be able to put it in scenarios and different options. That if you do this, this is likely the consequences and outcome. If you do this, these are the likely consequences. And it does not mean that it is exclusive and conclusive. No, because there could be variance, there could be variation in those outcomes. That is why you need to be flexible, you need to be dynamic, and you must be able to make changes. That's all it takes. But you should establish starting tenets. You get it? That this is how I'm going to achieve it. Like I said, the bedrock of it, if we are talking now of birth of a nation, is a political question. If you are not resolving that, you are dancing around the whole mission. The vision is there, but you are dancing around the whole mission. Yes, you need first to understood that this is a political question.
But we have written letters to uh, the former head of state of Nigeria. We are also written another letter to the new government of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and that brings me the question: what can Bola Ahmed Tinubu, a Yoruba man, can do to support this vision and mission?
Okay, let me put it this way. Like since I said, strategy will make you create scenario. Let's look at scenario one when Buhari was in power. If Buhari had been properly advised, and Buhari said, okay, people of people of Western Nigeria, you're demanding Yoruba nation and all that. Go prepared. In 6 months, there's going to be a referendum to establish whether not handful of people, not handful of you that have written the letter, whether truthfully occupants, residents, nationality living in southwest of Nigeria, in Western Nigeria, actually desired to be out of Nigeria. That's what referendum means. Don't be surprised, because this noise about Yoruba nation is most popular abroad. Don't be surprised that there could be overwhelmingly 70%, if not more, want to remain in Nigeria. And then that will shut it up. Then coming to the current administration, this man had not campaigned for an elective position, which he is now, as president commander-in-chief, on the platform that he wanted to be president of Yoruba nation. I don't know why that debacle will be put upon his neck. He had campaigned vigorously, even while some felt his health was failing. He said he wanted to be president of Nigeria. Yes, he will have listening here if you want to talk to him about the seceding Yoruba part out of Nigeria, because he's the current occupier of the office of the president of Nigeria. Yeah, he should have listening here to listen to your agitation. That, okay, you want to pull Yoruba out of. Okay, then he might give you advice. If you want to, speak to your legislators, let them move the motion, let them try it. If it succeeds, if not, on my part, the most I can do is to pass a referendum there and see if the people truly enjoy that, what is it called? Desired to be out of Nigeria. Yes, that's it. So nobody, you shouldn't see him as an enemy if he is conducting the business of his office. That's the business of his office. He will listen to you and said, okay, I'm not going to dictate to the House. If you have anybody to speak for you in the House of Legislation, go and table it there. On my part, this is what I can do. If I set up and said there will be referendum in 6 months, go be prepared.
Yeah, but
If
then
you
again,
fail,
I must quickly interrupt you there again. When you look at the process and procedure of inserting an amendment into the constitution, as we speak, there are a lot of contradiction, there are a lot of contraption in the constitution. One of them is like we don't have provision for plebiscite. I mean, vis-a-vis referendum. But the president of Nigeria cannot wake up just one day and say, I want to insert a referendum. Can you walk us through the process and procedure of how to bring referendum into the constitution? More so, when you and I know that part of the procedure will include voting on it, and then also when you know that majority of the states or local governments and state governments and so on, legislators, majority of them are from the north. What about if they said they don't want to vote for it? What happens?
okay, let me take it one after the other. Are you aware? Are you aware that referendum is not part of the status laws in UK? Yet there was referendum because the Tory government during under Cameron, having been pushed by the agitation and the request in Scotland, listened to it and then tabled it in the House, made a motion, and said there should be referendum in Scotland. The same they did with Brexit. It's not a statute. It cannot be everything has to be in the constitution. Do you get it? It doesn't have to be written there all the time. No. If you listen to what I said earlier, that Bola Tinubu could have responded in two ways if the Yoruba agitators have approached him. He will say, first, go to the legislature, the National Assembly, table this matter to them. If you have your representative who can speak that for you, that means you must have had voters, I mean, a senator or House of Rep member who are Yoruba agitator. Yes, go and let them do that. I'm not going to do that for you. On my part, what I will do for you is to do the referendum. That, I'm not saying that Bola Tinubu will write the rule, but he has executive power to do so. So it's not necessarily that it should be in the ground norm, the constitution. No, it's not. It's not.
Well,
So such agitation that, oh, because of that, the constitution is faulty, it does not arise. It does not arise. And I stand to be challenged. I've just said it earlier. That United Kingdom, in the statute of laws, there was no, it is the government of the day because that was the matter arising.
well, again,
You are aware that we do not have a rigid constitution in United Kingdom. So we don't have constitutional framework.
in
We
fact,
have laws, bylaws, statutes,
they are
and
not
all
written.
that. Yes.
They are not written. You know, they are all unwritten. Um, Another thing that I want to share out to um, my listeners, my viewers tonight, is going back to present governance in Nigeria. Many people are still thinking, sorry, are still thinking that one or two things could happen. And then the issue of 8,000, well, even though the 8,000 handout has now been re, recalled. So, what do you think, as an economist, what do you think the 500 billion could have been used for?
Well, I have to tread carefully on that matter. Reason being, I do not have all the details in my fingertip. there are some informations that I'm not aware of. I relied on newspaper publications, which I try to fact check on some, then contact some appropriate authority to establish certain facts too. My my impression of it is that the former administration of Muhammadu Buhari have made a plan that, well, Nigeria will not be subsidizing PMS any longer from June 2023. Though that sounds like a booby trap, because they know by June 2023 he will no longer be in office. So did not make any provision for subsequent subsidizing of petroleum, PMS. In doing that, they approached the World Bank for a loan that there is going to be an attendant hardship if that step is taken. And so, quote and unquote, which is the word that is used today, palliative, that we want to create a buffer for the effect of cushioning it on the public, the generality of Nigeria. And so they were able to secure a loan. That's still in doubt now, because that's why I said some of it are not very clear to me. It is regarded, it is classified as a loan, that the World Bank is advancing a loan of 800, I think 800 million, yeah, to Nigeria to do that. And the World Bank equally, that's to the information I have, equally said that money must be cash transfer. That's your lender saying that the money I'm borrowing you, you must distribute it, not for economic production, not for anything, just people to, it's like free money. You get it? That's your lender now telling you that that is the condition I'm attaching to that money. If you want this money, you should be able to distribute it for free for people.
Is Nigeria not going to repay?
That's the second. I said earlier that I have not clarified if it is a grant or it's a aid, which is free. Yeah, that sounds nice. But when somebody is saying, I will give you money, you will repay, but go and throw it away. Yeah, I think that calls for a concern. And he's saying the condition I will give you that money is you must distribute it for some people, but you will pay me back. That sounds like a quagmire. Do you get me? And that's why I said I'm a bit sketchy about this whole thing. The arrangements sound very, very, very unhealthy. That your lender will say that I'll give you money for the purpose of squandering it, and you should pay me back. And I'm agreeing to it. You get so if that's the condition, I think then the government is tied. That if my accessing this fund, this loan, is for that purpose of distributing it. Do you get, because you have signed that condition?
Yes.
Do you know? Nobody can now fault the government by saying, I will go ahead by this. But now let's look at it this way, on two perspectives. Is World Bank behaving as a responsible lender that is going to give you money and say, just distribute it? That doesn't sound like World Bank is behaving as a responsible lender. Two, Nigerian constitution itself prohibits us from taking loan. It's not grant. It's not aid. It's not just any support. You get it? Taking loan. The only condition for taking loan is for capital expenditure. Taking loan and dishing it out to people contravene Nigerian constitution. So there are two conditions there that is not satisfactory. That the lender itself or herself, you get it, is conditioning you that you should take my money and distribute it. That's not acting responsibly. And you that is going to borrow the money, you want to borrow the money in contravention of your own constitution. So nobody is talking about those two quagmires, because we are all beclouded by the fact that the petroleum subsidy removal has brought hardship. So that kind of overlaying those errors, that this thing does not fit, that a responsible lender is saying, take my money, but pay me back, and go and just dole it out. And you have a law that prohibits you from taking money and doling it out, and you two are in contravention and you are just doing so. So those two are a contraption, but we are walking blindly into that problem just because there is hardship. Hardship that could have been properly managed anyway. You get it? So that to me is not an healthy situation. However, I have two other points. That yes, the hardship is here. I've listened to some commentators who talked about what is 8,000 naira. I cannot do this with 8,000 naira. It doesn't make sense. Yeah, that's one side. Two, the argument against that distribution itself is fear. It's fear of those who are going to embezzle it using fictitious detail. Not that they believe that people do not deserve it. There are people, as of TV report of Mangu in Plateau, Zamfara, where the bandits have gone to attack, in Sokoto, in Kano, in Borno. I look at the living standard of the people there. 8,000 naira means a lot to them. There are more than 12 million Nigerian households that 8,000 naira sure means something. Those who live in the city, who are having 2-3 cars and cannot fuel them, so yes, they can say so. They can say it's a waste of money. Yes. But indeed, those who live in the hinterland, who have not seen electricity, who walk 12 kilometers to go get water, who doesn't have hospital healthcare center near them, who for their children to go to school will need to walk 3 kilometers. 8,000 sure means something to them. And they are in large numbers. Nobody should deceive us. There are more than 80 million of them. So there are those who sure will need that. But like I said, the elite who are campaigning, who are screaming, they are not really campaigning. They are saying, if I'm in the shoe of the civil servant that is going to distribute it, I'm going to put 2,000 fictitious name and account and recover 8 times 2,000, 8,000 times 2,000 to my own pocket, because they know that is what all of them does. So it is the fear of being shortchanged, that the money will be cornered in the pocket of few. That is the argument.
To, money.
That is the argument.
Yeah.
The truth is, many Nigerians need that 8,000 naira. But those who are campaigning and say it's a waste, is because they know that just as if they were in that shoe, that is what they would do. Yeah, that's a Yoruba proverb. They know this is how we do it. You get it? 12 million people that they want to pay, probably to go to only 4 million of them. The rest 8 million will be shared among maybe only 4,000 people. We will share that money, each of them providing maybe 150 different accounts. So it's because they are aware of these things happening. That is what is jolting everybody.
Thank you. Well, because of time, I have no doubt in my mind that there's going to be another day where I'm going to bring you back again. I promise you 1 hour, I've stolen 34 minutes on top of it. I hope.
Can I quickly add something too?
Please go ahead.
I want to implore this new administration that there is a way out of this conundrum. If they really desire to make a change and impact, a meaningful one to the lives of Nigeria. There have been a lot of people who have talked about cutting down the cost of governance. It's very important. They should adhere to that. Very, 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 very important. And I say this, that it should start from the office of the president. No doubt. If a fish wants to rot, it starts from the head. Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a very blessed man. If he can afford 50 different cars, exotic ones. If he wants to use them, let him use his own personal car. If he is in love of displaying vehicles, let him use his personal money to buy them and display it. Tell Nigerians, these cars, I bought them with my money. So your money is intact. If he takes that step, whereas I don't see why he would need them anyway. You get it? If he stick to that, it will flow down. It will flow down. You cut the cost. We are Nigerian. When Bola Ige was made minister of, he shouted out that he does not understood why, for a position of the minister of power, that 32 cars will be attached to his office. 32 vehicles. What does he need it for? And he still have aides, special advisor, their special assistant, who themselves will have routines of this thing. That there is so much waste. And then there is another advice I want to give them. I'm an economist. Nigeria has a major revenue from oil and gas. I believe this government wants to refocus on gas more. Yeah, it's good, particularly with the problem in Europe. It's good. But the bane of doing so is because that market is driven by foreign exchange. They are exporting crude or gas to earn foreign exchange. It is when we export it that we earn foreign exchange. Those foreign exchange that we earn is what we will use to buy factors of production, machinery, capital machinery. That is what we essentially need. Government should ban, and I use the word ban, yes, all this frivolous importation. Nigeria had become a dumping ground for, I cannot imagine Nigeria importing bottled water, importing toothpick, all manners of cereal under the sun. Everything we import from Dubai, we import from China, we import from you. Everything is fully imported. We don't need that.
Yeah, but we go out to do marriages, weddings, celebrations.
That's what I'm saying. That can be funded by diaspora remittance. Yes, if you have people abroad who will send you money, but you can't go to Nigerian forex market and say, I want to change money to go and do wedding. That won't happen. Do you get it? If you have, that's what the British will call expats, but they called us migrants. If we are working in their land, they call us migrants. When they come to work in our own land, we call them expats.
Or tourists or whatever.
No, we call them expats.
Oh, expats, yeah, okay.
Yes, we call them expats. But they will not call us expats in their land. They will call us migrants. Even if you are a medical doctor, if you are an engineer, he's an engineer of African descent. He's a migrant. Even if he's the best in his field. But half qualified that is white, that will come to Nigeria is an expert. It's not a migrant. You get? So once that is done, that, you know what? All my biggest suggestion is even this. There is a name that is being trumped up in Nigeria, particularly the automobile industry, Innocent Motors.
Innocent Motors, yeah.
I don't see why Nigerian government, I don't know if it is possible now, but it's not so it's not so fashionable now that the federal government will dictate to the state and said you have to do this. If not, I would have wanted a situation where it has happened before during the military, I suppose, that the official vehicles of government of Nigeria was Pojo.
Pojo, yeah.
Yeah, because we have an assembly plant of Pojo in Kaduna. Yes, flourishing one. So I don't see why they cannot patronize local. That's it. No government worker, no government office holder to use any other vehicle than locally made. Innocent, if there is any other brand, but it's locally assembled or locally made. Yes, we will buy it with our naira. We will pay him with our naira. Maintenance will be paid in naira. The only time Innocent will need foreign exchange is to bring in capital good, machinery that he will use in developing his business. He's not going to take foreign exchange from TBN to go and buy Kellogg's, to go and buy shawarma, to go and buy burger, to go and buy chicken. He will buy only capital goods.
But our legislators are not interested in what you are saying, Mr. Oseni.
That's it. That's why I said it has to be a bold political step. And that is my advice for this current administration. This is the time for Asiwaju to shine. If he really, life is ephemeral. If he wants to write his name with a golden pen on a golden page, he should just do this and say, thank you, Allah. Yes, he should take that bold political steps. He's a man of immense wealth. He doesn't need it, but he can make it happen. That it is a vehicle. He has entered them all.
All right.
So if they do that for the likes of Innocent, somebody told me that there could be reprisal, that the likes of BMW, Toyota, and all that are bringing cars into Nigeria might want to use the government of their state to impose some sanctions or whatever. Yes, you should be prepared. Let them do it, but stick to the gun. I can tell you the reverse, which is authentic, and be honest here, authentic. No economic sense in them fighting up. You know what they will do? The likes of Toyota, GM, Chrysler, BMW, Benz, or what is it called? Volkswagen. They will invest in Innocent. They will start talking with Innocent on how to expand. That they will come with their capital investment. That they will improve on what he has.
They will be part of the business.
Of course.
And they will still make their profits.
Because that's the market. Yes. They don't want to lose out. They don't want to lose out. They only just need to adjust. You get it? They only need to adjust their business model. They will. They will come in as an investor in his business. Technical partner, name it, whichever way they want to. They want to be accommodated. Yes, they will. But mind you, that comes down to all those vehicles will be paid for in naira.
So whatever sterling we have or dollars we get, we'll be able to
Stay
save
with
it.
us.
Thank you very much. I want to give 10 minutes for anybody who wants to call in to have either a quick addition, subtraction, or a question. The number is scrolling on the screen. Again, let me, if you get a pen and paper there, I'm giving another 10 minutes to allow you to call in. It's a +44 7368 465 054. If you want to call in, +44 7368 465 054. You are free to call in now to contribute to this discussion or this show. And then, meanwhile, I want to go back to Yoruba. So what exactly are you saying that the we that want to come out of Yoruba nation in Nigeria, what exactly should we be doing now? We have the next 4 years to romance. 4 years, another probably 8 years. What should we be doing with the next 4 years? Mr. Oseni, what should we be doing? What exactly should we be doing now to get what
Okay.
we want? Now that we know that there's no way in the whole universe that we can get Yoruba nation unless otherwise we slaughter it, we paddle it, we make it through the political process, or we make it through whatever, but it cannot be gotten from anywhere in the whole world. Nobody can get it.
Established fact. They cannot.
So what should we be doing now? What should we be doing? We have 4 years, but you have another 4 minutes to tell me.
Well, if the agitation is right, if they're really convinced that it's achievable, it's feasible, then that means campaigns should start now to form political organization or to form or to fuse into political organization. It's either way. That's why I said it's strategic planning. You can either infiltrate all the political organizations, in which case all the established political parties, you have membership. So Yorubas will not be restricted. So if you turn up there, fine. If you turn up here, fine. But your emblem is Yoruba Nation Frontier. Or we'll start with registering a political party, because that's a process with INEC too. Registering a political party, start marshalling campaign platform that you use to campaign and have political leaders that will emerge. You get it? So I'm not going to give anybody a wish list of phantom idea that in 1 month, in 2 months, in 3, because the next political election, the cycle, is going to be in another 4 years. But mind you, you need to campaign vigorously. Let the people know those 4 years, you can use it to campaign, enlighten, and bring people up to date, up to speed for the desires to have that Yoruba nation. If within it, you get it, your agitation, your noise becomes overwhelming, that the government itself could be compelled to say, let there be referendum, you can win. Rather than having a lackadaisical attitude that, you know what, people are in our support, when you don't know the numbers. Do you get me? I'm not talking of going to the field to start molesting people, making noise, going to the streets to do protest or whatever. No, vigorous campaign, enlightening people on the need, the use, the beauty of having a Yoruba nation. Yes, we can do that so that we are planning for the next dispensation of electoral cycle. If we get there, fine, we will be able to table it in the House. So but I'm saying that in the same strategy, once you are engaging, you get it. It doesn't need to get to that next election for the what is it called, the executive in this time, to say that, okay, you know what, there's going to be a referendum there. Yeah. So, when that drum gets so loud, in the years of the presidency, they could act and said, okay, but if you are not prepared on ground that that referendum will come, you get it, you could be shocked. So it's not staying abroad, staying in Cotonou, staying in Spain, or staying in the United States that is going to turn people in Lagos, Ogun, Ondo, Oyo, Osun, and Ekiti to electoral victory for Yoruba nation. No. So they have to be there on ground, walking the walk, talking the talk.
We must come out of our box.
Yes.
All right. Let me thank you, Mr. Segun Oseni. I can say it loud. Segun Oseni is a nephew of Otumba Hu. And it's my pleasure bringing you to my show. And I'm sure for those of us who have, yes, we have had you. And then I think the best thing is to heed the advice and I want to appreciate all the national leaders who have been flying the kites. I mean, saying the little campaigns do matter, because at least to a great extent, it's just like a case of 10,000 miles. Start with the first step. We have started, we have been in it. All we need to do now is to rearrange, reappraise, readdress, and rearrange what we need to do. Again, like I say, I'm an open campaigner for Yoruba Nation. I'm not going to die by saying that. And with the relationship I have with everybody, they know exactly where I stand. And again, like another thing, it is an opportunity galore for us now, that all we need to do is just to take advantage, repackage, rearrange exactly what we want, let people know. And you come up with a very, very good example of one person, one man that took care of the whole great country, a great country like UK, took it out. So I just hope I can do that. If I have money tomorrow, I play lottery. If I win, of course, I'll be doing that. I will just
mind you, Farage said he was not banked, so you might not really need so much money. You just need the vibrancy of the intellect.
Well,
you recall that NatWest shocked him out.
Exactly. And all the banks in the UK are not giving him any opportunity to open. So he's only citizen of this country that is bankless. He has to be carrying his money all over. I want to thank you very much for giving me your time. I know that it's not been easy. Things have been like pressure here, pressure, but thank God you have the time to attend to me. Viewers, that's all what I have for everybody today. I promise I can bring this young man again to your pleasure. So if you have questions, it's too late now, but you can call me next time you come. We can start with even question first. So last time I forgot to ask you. It's been my pleasure. Thank you very much, Mr. Segun Daniel Oseni.
Thank you.
And thank you. Yeah. Your
I'm
last word.
for being invited. Thank you very much. And thank you, viewers. We all appreciate your attention.
Okay. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.